But let's bring in our next guest. We got Rae Dunn here. Hey, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm
Awesome.
terrible with technology. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good. We're gonna have a cat in this interview because
That's fine.
my husband and I have been gone for a week, and this is the one that will not get out of my lap.
Fair. Very fair. How have things been going for you?
They're going good. Like I said, my husband and I just got, got back from a week-long trip in the Bailey, Colorado area, which is just a little south of Denver.
Yeah.
And it was his birthday. And since both of us live pretty separate lives that are pretty busy, it's nice every once in a while. We've kind of recognized early on that we should give ourselves a week where we can just be together, turn everything off, and kind of reconnect as a couple.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years, we've been doing that once a year. But this year we did it twice. And now financially, it's hard to do. We don't really just have money like that. We work really hard for every dollar we get. But relationship wise, it's very vital.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I completely understand that. Just to kind of be able to turn everything off and then just, be in each other's presence. That's sometimes more important than anything else.
Yep.
So
how have you been?
Oh, I've been doing all right. We're hour 9.
It's been a year since I've talked to you.
Yeah,
Did you come
I did, but you were working.
Okay.
And I came in through Memphis in Easter, or while I was going up to Chicago for Easter, and I stayed the night, and I went and talked to Mark and Nia and all them, and it was cool. And then you had a show at South Main Sounds that next day, but I had to get up to Chicago, so I couldn't hang around.
Dang.
So
okay.
But Memphis is cool. Actually, it's quite funny. Since Mark and I kind of work in the same industry, the amount of people that we both know that, anytime I say, hey, I'm going to Memphis, oh, you going to hang out with Mark? Yeah, it's like, geez, this guy, I don't get it, but
Well, that's one reason I kind of, when I first met him, just kind of stuck to him as a friend. We also have very complementary personalities.
Yeah.
But he was one of the few people in Memphis, because Memphis is one of those cities that's kind of an anomaly. It has a lot of history that is thick and beautiful and has impacted the whole world. But currently, you really kind of have to dig to find your people in your niche. And when I found that Mark was kind of on that same wavelength and the no BS kind of thing, I was like, ooh, I like this guy.
Yeah. He's definitely cool. He's got a cool thing going there. And anytime I come to Memphis, that's one of the places that it's like, okay, I got to go. So,
yeah. I tell everybody it's this little like grassroots hole in the wall thing that every artist wants. Like I never really realized it until a few times of traveling off in other places where I would tell people that, it's like a record shop in the daytime. And then it's like a place any artist can come and do anything. You can do videos downstairs. You can come practice if you need to. It's just kind of like a hangout spot, but then it's like a beer joint on Friday nights and it's like a songwriter place. And they're like, what? That's so cool. I wish I had a place like that.
Yeah, that's, you clarified something. I never knew what it really was during the daytime. Anytime I go in there, there's always just chairs everywhere. So it's like, okay, maybe it's just like a sound stage, but okay.
He's got little like Memphis memorabilia. Everything is for sale. Literally, you can ask him how much his shoes are and he will sell them. But it's really more, he markets it more as a record shop.
Yeah, I got you. Fair enough. So, how's everything with your music been going? You've put out an album this year. That's amazing.
Back in March, we put out, I Guess That's Life. And I have to say, with the pandemic and just everything that's been going on, it's been really hard to not just jump on the next album and like start a new project and really give this one life, because I'm so proud of it. I love it so much, but it was supposed to come out 2 years ago. So I've kind of been sitting on these songs and these ideas and what we were doing. And in that process, we made some videos, but then my videographer had to move to Iowa. So I'm currently still looking for somebody that has really good quality, but isn't
Mm-hmm.
trying to gouge me. So if anybody out there, call me. But there's just so many aspects of this project that are kind of then and now that it's almost like in a way disconjointed, but I'm trying to give it as much life and love as I can. And I'm going to start promoting again. We did have a Christmas single on that album, which was a cover of Willie Nelson's Pretty Paper. And I'm about to start promoting that as soon as Thanksgiving. I'm going to let everybody have their Thanksgiving before I promote the Christmas music.
Fair. Oh, hold on. What just happened here? Hold on. My interface just disconnected. That's weird. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what interface disconnection means. So
no,
I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll just let it roll. That's fine. Oh, that's what happened. That's weird. That's not good. But oh well. Anyways.
But yeah, it's been a good year.
Yeah, that's good. And having talked to you during multiple different phases of the album release, like that early on during the pandemic. And I think you were kind of in the early processes of writing that album, and just kind of getting to watch it gradually progress towards a finished product has been really cool.
Yeah.
Kind of a really cool.
Yeah, and it is all originals for anybody wondering out there.
Gotcha.
Except for the Pretty Paper, and there's one Loretta Lynn cover because I love Loretta Lynn.
Because why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
For sure. I feel that. And so how's shows been going for you? Like last time I was out in Memphis, you were playing pretty consistent. I think you had like 2 or 3 shows in the time that I was out in Memphis for like 2 days.
Yeah, I've been playing over the past year, playing with a lot of new players, and I'm just kind of one of those gut feeling artists. I don't really question things. Maybe I question them after I do them, like, why did I do that? But in the moment, my body just tells me to do things. And lately, I love my band, but we kind of lost our bass player. And it's been hard to make it work sometimes. So we've still been doing big live showcases periodically. But as far as just smaller gigs, I've been playing with a lot of different buddies of mine. One guy, he's one of the friends that started me in music 10 years ago, and we've never played together. So it's just kind of nice. His name's Kennard Farmer. And it's just kind of nice to be playing with different people all the time and just kind of melding their style and their vibe with what I do and learning how to give and take. I like that. I like the camaraderie of music. That's kind of why I enjoy music. I'm not one of those diva dictators. It's got to be my way kind of artist. And I like to think that that's a better thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like the fact that you have the ability to kind of just mold, like I think it speaks a lot to your character and who you are as a human being. The fact that you can just kind of mold in with any musician and just kind of make musical magic or magical music, however you want to phrase it.
Well, and it's more fun because I've always said that I don't want to ever do anything that is the same old boring. No offense. I really think we need factory workers. But if I ever felt like what I was doing was factory work, I just personally, it wouldn't be fulfilling. And so I like to play different venues. I like to play with different people. I like to try to add in new songs. I like to keep it fresh, keep myself on my toes, so to speak. And I've been playing lately with a guy named Mario Monterosso as well. And his background is in rockabilly. Now that first one, Kennard Farmer, he's like R&B and soul.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm country, and we put that together, and it's just crazy. So then now me and Mario are putting together his like old school rockabilly with my old school country, and I love it. It sounds so good.
That's what's up. That like just bending genres. I feel like that's kind of what made Memphis special back in the day. Was just like genres coming together and doing their thing.
Yeah, so even though I personally love and feel country, old school, like 50s, 60s country in my veins, like you said, that's what I like about being in Memphis is there's so many different people doing different things, but it's still a small town and everybody kind of works together, or at least knows everybody. Some people maybe.
Yeah. And I will say the one thing I miss about the last time I was in Memphis, I went to that farmers market that Mark runs plays or books the music
Books
for.
it.
Yeah, runs. I walked around there and I was like, man, if I didn't live 8 hours away, I could do all my grocery shopping here and it would be all
Wow.
organically made. Like, or yeah. So
That's a really good farmers market. And it's funny because Mark's thing as a booking agent is kind of he'll get an artist. He's always trying to bring in new artists,
yeah,
new people, fresh faces. And it's not to, wipe out the gigs for the local folks.
yeah,
There are plenty of gigs for us, and he knows that. It's more so to expose us to each other
hmm,
and to give these people new opportunities, and he's just stirring the pot in a good way.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if everybody knows that's why he does that, but that is. And I've met so many, like as a woman in this industry, sometimes it's kind of hard and it's few and far between to meet women, let alone cool women.
Yeah.
And I know Mark's personality good enough that like if he really thinks a woman is cool, I know I'm going to like her. And I've met so many women friends in this industry that I could have never met in a million years.
Yeah. That's, I mean, you guys got something special there, and you got a gem in Mark that just kind of gets what it takes to keep a music scene vital and fertile and, you know, I don't want to say possible, but just kind of keeps it going for everyone. And that's new artists, existing artists, and everywhere in between. So,
Yeah. And I know he probably told you this when you visited the farmer's market, but Ashley McBride used to play there.
actually, no, he didn't, because
Yeah.
uh, Mark was already a few deep on that one. So,
Okay.
he,
Yeah,
he,
he does like to have a drink or two, but that's kind of one of the cool claim to fames
yeah.
is like it's just a farmer's market, but and that sounds so simple,
Hmm.
but the amount of people that walk through it,
Hmm.
it's crazy. It's like a festival
Yeah.
every Saturday. And just think if half of those people gave you $1 because
Hmm.
they're out there buying most of their stuff with cash, and everybody drops in a 5, a 10, a dollar, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can walk away from the farmer's market with more money than almost any gig in Memphis. It's kind of crazy.
That's wild. But that's kind of what the beauty of, I don't want to call it busking because that's not really what it is, but
Yeah.
just kind of playing for tips is if they like you, they're gonna pay you. Like, I mean, there's
Yeah.
no way around it, but that's crazy that you could walk away with tips more
Yeah.
than a gig in Memphis. That's wild.
Yeah, and before the Ashley story, before she moved to Nashville, which was her final resting
Yeah,
place, and now she's, as everybody knows,
yeah,
blown up in Nashville, but she spent some time in Memphis, and she played a lot of these same gigs that we
yeah.
play, including the farmers market.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
that's cool.
That's really cool. And like just to kind of see the path as an independent
Yeah,
musician, that's got to be really fun and be like, okay, there is a way to make this all work and mean something in a
yeah,
greater level.
it's a little bit of an inspiration. Like,
Mhm.
okay, because sometimes Memphis gets a rap of being like a dead city.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I think a lot of our city leaders do put more focus on the history
Mhm.
and the tourism for history and things that did happen, not things that are happening.
Mhm.
So I think hopefully maybe we've got a new mayor and I say we, I live in
Mm.
Eastern Arkansas, but but I'm in Memphis every night,
Yeah.
it's about 30 minutes
Yeah.
away. But they have a new mayor and maybe things will change a little bit to kind of help the current musicians and current tourism for that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I guess I'm hopeful.
Yeah, for sure. It's got its own unique charm, and all it needs is a little, oh, a little love and support from its leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
'cause
I think if we get that, that will help. But we're definitely not a dead city
no,
musically at
not
all.
at all.
It's just maybe under a blanket or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of that same issue as like if you go to Nashville and go down Broadway, a lot of
Mm,
people when they think of Memphis, they go down Beale Street, and
mm.
there's a lot of good gigs on Beale Street, don't get me wrong, but if that's how you measure the success of a city and their scene,
Yeah.
there's so much more outside of Beale Street to Memphis, you know?
So much more.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those things where it's everybody's perspective on
Yes.
Memphis. It needs to change.
And I will invite any of your viewers. I don't know how many people you have watching from where or what, but they are more than welcome. You know this. I love to talk to people. I love to meet people. I love to host people. I just kind of love to connect. So if they are ever coming through Memphis and would like to know about some of these places that you and I are talking about, you know, more than welcome to hit me up and message me, and I'll do what I can to make sure their stay, I guess, in Memphis is everything that they hoped it'd be.
Yeah, absolutely. And having ambassadors like that is vital. So kind of looking at you and your music, obviously you don't want to rush into the next project, but are you like writing? What are you kind of doing right now? Are you writing or are you playing with recording? Where are you kind of at?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I if you play with recording, you will record. And then if
Yes.
you record, you'll want to release. You know, it's like you can't start rolling that ball unless you roll the ball.
Fair.
So
But
well, for me at least, because I don't know. I'm outgoing like that. But so I'm keeping myself from doing that, but I'm keeping it very alive in my mind.
okay.
And I will say he says it's 100%, so I got to believe it's 100%. But there is a radio network here in Memphis that I'm going to start hosting a show on.
Nice.
In December is when
Okay.
we're going to start filming. I don't know when it first comes out because you know how that is. Sometimes you have to film a couple ahead of time just in case there's a week you're sick. And then also in December, I was on the George Klein TV show here in Memphis, which George Klein has passed, but he still has his TV show going. And there's been some other people like Dave Brown and Danny Bruns that have hosted it. And Danny is one of our lead radio gals here in Memphis and head of Cumulus in our area. And she was the interviewer that afternoon that I was on there. But that is really cool because George Klein was Elvis's best friend and stuck with him to the end and did everything that he could to promote Memphis and to promote Elvis and just to be an advocate for the local musicians. And I hate that he has passed, but it's beautiful that his legacy is still going on and that I got to be on the show and be interviewed because it's kind of one of those things here in Memphis locally. It's like the next level. Like you don't just, they'll put on somebody from out of town before they don't just like pick up anybody.
They don't just, that
was a huge thing. And then this radio show is kind of with those same people. And I don't know what I can say, so I'm just going to keep it all quiet, but it's going to be pretty cool. It'll be me and a guy named Leon Griffin, who has been a newscaster and a voiceover artist here in Memphis for years. And he's just got this smooth, when I first met him, I told him, I was like, meeting famous musicians probably should make me nervous, but it doesn't necessarily. And not because I don't think they're so amazing, but like if Rebo was in the room right now, it's almost like she's a coworker.
Yeah.
She's just higher up.
Yeah.
Like one of the bosses or something.
Yeah.
But we do the same thing. So we're coworkers. And I said, but it's funny because you were a newscaster my whole life as a kid with that real smooth voice. And I said, so to meet you, I'm almost kind of nervous because you're the famous person. Like you're the star. And he really thought that was funny. But I was like, you're like my personal Morgan Freeman growing up. He just had that. He was a voiceover for everything. So to host a show with him is going to be really cool.
That's what you tell that story, and it reminds me. So what the TV station I work at, we have a lot of the entry level positions. It's a lot of local kids that went to school at Baylor or like whatever it is, and we had a morning news anchor that was kind of like the person everybody knew, everybody grew up watching her, everybody like knows who she is. And this kid on his first day walks in and she's sitting over in the corner doing like working on something, and he has a freaking panic attack because she's sitting right there and he can't get over it. And I'm like, it's just Anne, like because I didn't grow up in this area, so I didn't know what she meant to a lot of people, but it's like,
it wasn't until it happened that I realized that. I've never, thought about that kind of concept, but when I met him and then Dave Brown, who was another one, it just kind of happened. And it reminded me that like, oh yeah, growing up, we only had 4 channels on our TV.
mm-hmm.
And they were both newscaster guys on one of the main channels that my parents always put it on. And so it was like every single night for dinner, these guys told me about the world, because I was just this little country girl living on a gravel road that didn't know about the world, or, we go to Memphis every once in a while, but we didn't have money to go to Memphis all the time. So they were the deliverers of all my things outside of this little country farmhouse that I lived in. And then sometimes we'd catch the morning news before we went to school, and then sometimes we'd catch midday, and you never knew when you were going to see them, but you saw them just about every single day. So that is beyond Reba or Garth or any of those people that I just kind of idolize loosely. I mean, these people every single day, almost like mom and dad telling you how your day was going to start. So when I finally met him, I think that's why it was so like,
I've had a couple of
normal people.
I've had a couple of situations like that where it's like, oh, hey, and it catches me off guard, but so, but I don't want to keep you too much longer here. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat. If anybody wants to check out your music, catch one of your shows, or just kind of stay up on everything that you got going on, where's the best place to find you?
I would say basically any social media, anything, type in Amber Rae Dunn on Google, it'll bring me up. But I'm better probably at posting my shows on Facebook. I try to get them on my website. Y'all know, like, I am a solo artist doing everything. It is a time-consuming effort that I really do love, and I love to share with you guys. But sometimes it takes a little moment. So for shows that are happening soon, definitely go to Facebook on that. Sometimes Instagram. I'll try to get better this new 2024 on my website with posting those. But yeah, TikTok, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you consume music, you can find me.
Awesome. Well, Amber Rae Dunn, 3rd year in a row we've had you on the PanCAN Fundraiser. I really appreciate it. And you're essentially part of the Live and Amplified family at this point. Every time I come to Memphis, I know I have somebody to go see. I still need to swing by the barbershop. That's always been the one thing that I want.
So that's kind of cool. People, when they come to town, anybody can stop by the barbershop, because I actually work there. And if I'm not there, my dad's there, and they're like, this is the place.
It's one of those things where last Easter I was thinking about swinging through, but it was already so late in the day when I got there. I was like, they're probably not open at this point. It was like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and I was like,
oh, we're there till 6.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
So, but really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat. You're always welcome on. Let me know whatever you got going on, and
thank you for having me.
Always appreciate you. So
I hope we raise a lot of money, and everybody after this interview just like pulls out their wallets and types in all those credit card numbers.
That'd be awesome. Anybody watching, I'd really appreciate that. If you want to do so, the QR code just over here, you could scan that or type in lnacares.site, and you can donate right there as well.